This is Hidden Killers Week in Review.
A look back at the most prolific stories of the week.
This is the Hidden Killers podcast with Tony Brueski.
Featuring author, psychologist, and daily contributor, Siobhan Scott.
The trial of Chad Daybell, we're getting closer to a conclusion, and a conclusion that I think, if you're a betting person, is not going to end in the favor of Chad Daybell in any way, shape, or form. He's also said he's not going to be taking the stand. So we are left with his children trying to explain dad away, and I don't know how well of a job they actually did. We'll take a look at some of those clips. Joining me to discuss, Siobhan Scott, psychotherapist and author. Okay, kids have been on the stand. What's been your takeaway?
Just how much Chad's personality has permeated that family. You know, he ran a cult, at least in his mind, he was running a cult, and his family was going right along with it. So his family, in that sense, was a very enmeshed form of Chad's cult too.
Very much so. I mean, when you look at the testimony of those children on the stand, it's creepy. And it reminds me also of other clips I've seen of other interviews from other cases from people who have been cult members or currently were cult members when being interviewed. What is going on with that delivery? The monotone, the very much not questioning anything. Expand on that a little bit.
It's so hard for those of us who came out of, fairly normal families where you have conflict with your parents when you're a teenager and you learn to think your own thoughts. And even though it's tumultuous raising kids, it's normal to have that kind of splitting away from the parents' beliefs. And we don't get a sense that that ever happened in the Daybell family. It was like they were all involved in this crazy theology and enmeshed in it together, and they went right along with each other. And so it's not normal developmentally. You don't like to see families where the kids just swallow everything the parents believe without questioning.
Yeah. And
it's always kind of a bad sign.
I think that's what we're seeing a lot of. This is Chad Daybell's daughter talking about Tammy's health, because that's been in question. Some saying she was in just fine health, but her daughter didn't believe that to be the case. Going to bed early and liking to drink that colloidal silver. Let's take a look.
Her health started declining. I was really worried about it. She'd always been one to be able to meet the demands of daily life without being exhausted. And she started going to bed at before dinner some nights. It would be 5, 6, 7 o'clock at night. And she would sleep in too if given the opportunity. So suddenly needing to sleep a lot was very confusing to me.
Were you aware of any other health maladies that your mother may have suffered from?
She had anemia.
Okay. Were you aware of any medications that your mother may have taken?
She preferred herbal supplements. She did take the generic form of the medication Prozac.
Okay.
That was the only prescribed medication that she regularly took.
Were there any non-prescription medications or herbs or supplements that you're aware of?
Oh, definitely. She really liked using colloidal silver was her favorite. It's
slow down for me. Colloidal silver?
Colloidal silver. It's distilled water with particles of silver in it to the part per million. It tastes like you're drinking water out of a metal water bottle, and it can cure everything.
Okay, and
I say that with a smile because you really should go to the doctor instead of drinking.
Calls for speculation.
World. Go ahead.
Yep. She would use colloidal silver as an antiviral, is what she called it. So anytime she felt under the weather, she would take colloidal silver and she would.
This calls for hearsay.
World. Go ahead.
I witnessed her drinking it, and she would encourage other people in our household to do so.
I've heard that term before from other doomsday preppers. I believe Jim Baker got sued recently for it when he was hawking his stuff along with God out of Branson. But what's your takeaway on that testimony?
It's sad. She is so desperate to believe that her mother died of natural causes.
Yeah.
And she is just not ever going to believe that somebody put a pillow over her face and smothered her. I just don't think she's ever going to go there. It's desperate. It's sad. It hits me as just, again, indicative of her own brainwashing, the fact that she's still trying to come up with reasons, colloidal silver being what it is. I don't think that's what killed her mother. And the fact that her mother needed to sleep a lot. Well, she was on Prozac, and people go on Prozac when they're depressed. And I thought, man, Tammy was probably really dealing with a lot of depression. If I were in Tammy's shoes, I would have been depressed, married to that man.
I'm surprised, and it's going to sound horrible, but I'm surprised that she didn't end it herself at some point with Chad Daybell being your husband. And if she's aware that it's God's plan that Chad goes and sleeps with Lori, yeah, that's called depression, and that could lead somebody to those sort of maladies.
Sick of the ads?
We are too.
Start listening with no commercials now and get access to all of our episodes in advance of everyone else.
Become a True Crime Today Premium Plus subscriber on Apple Podcasts.
Search True Crime Today Premium Plus on Apple Podcasts or go to our podcast page and sign up now.
True Crime Today Premium Plus.
Sign up now.